For how long shall we listen or shall we read titles like Hunger Kills 30 People in Marsabit? For how long shall we read titles like Power Makes Money and Money Makes Power? Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of our discussion today is called Hunger and Wealth. I am Teacher Michael, and we are here at the Mira Talk. Fidel.
Hello, good people, and welcome back to the show. This is the Mira Reflection Show. Remember, you can find us on YouTube at Mira Reflection Kenya. You can find us on Instagram at Mira Reflection Kenya, on Twitter at Mira Reflection Kenya, and on Facebook. Welcome back, guys, and I'm your girl, Fidel.
And this is Chobet. Make sure you listen to our podcast, Mira Reflection Kenya. Yes.
Thank you so much, ladies. The topic of our discussion today is hunger and wealth. Hunger and wealth, ladies and gentlemen, we want to talk about the political class and the campaign funds. And MCA uses 12 million shillings to go and acquire less than 10 million shillings after 5 years. What do you think is the interest, Madam Fidel?
I think it's all based on power. Because when we talk about power, what is power? Power comes with things like manipulation, of course. So the moment that person have power, and they can gather any kind of people, like the mass, if they have the power, the next thing they are going for are the people. And then the next thing they have, what's the next thing? They have control, of course, and they don't care about anyone else. They just care about the power.
I can listen to you very keenly. Madam Chebet, just paint it a little bit more. Just elongate this. Now that Fidel is giving us about power and manipulation, what do you think is the main interest of having this kind of power and influence?
Before we go even further, when you talk about like someone who comes from a very, like, doesn't have like enough money to build up to be a political leader, I'll go make sure I get that money, make sure I get into that seat. And once I get into that seat, I'm going to do the best I can as a leader to make sure that I cover up all the things that are, the money that I've used and all that stuff before I look forward into the interest of other people. So it also comes to a thing of being centered to your power and make sure that once I'm in that position, this money, I am the channel before it goes back to the people. Yeah. So everything else, the tenders and everything else, I'm the one who is going to like make sure may control before iende huko. So si lazima nijiangalie kwanza.
Yes.
And my circle.
So you want to say what Fidel is saying, and now what you're roping in is that when you got the power, now you have the influence,
the money,
and now you
yeah.
have the money,
yeah.
So you can be manipulative.
Yes,
so
I can do whatever I want with
when
it.
you're manipulative, you can get to the systems and you can get tenders, and now that is where now you have the wealth that we people are talking about. Yeah. Now this is the source of that wealth.
Yes.
And just before you move a little bit more further, now that you have the wealth, and here we are talking about hunger versus wealth.
Yeah.
Why is it that you still think we are still in Africa and we can still listen to floods in whatever, we can listen to hunger in Marsabit, we can listen to all sad stories?
Yes, because
yes.
Literally, once you have the power, you have the money, there's something else that happens to our political scene, what we call the moral leadership. Do we have the moral leadership, like to make sure that once we get into power, are we looking forward into the interest of other people? Yeah. Number 2, corruption. Once, like, tuko na tenders, tuko na kila kitu, but because of self-interest, that money or that funds that are supposed to be driven to those areas is not even looked into. Bora yako sawa, the rest can just, so it's more of a moral leadership. Do we have a very good moral system that can lead these people?
Fidel, just before pengine Chebet amalizie, what can you add? What do you think you see?
So it's like whatever Chebet is saying. She's trying to tell us that for that MCA or that leader to to compensate or to get back to where he was before the campaign and using the money and everything. So you want to say that one person must suffer so that the other person can be okay. There is no way that I can be okay and that person is okay.
It can.
There is no way. So
there's that difference of
for them to be wealthy, we need to suffer from hunger. That's what it means. That's what you're trying to tell
So
me.
now you're driving you're hitting the nail on the top. Like somebody has to be rich for somebody to be poor.
Oh, is that what you mean?
It literally means once you are like at the top,
Yes.
I have to remain relevant. Nikipatia hawa watu food and niwapatie kila kitu they need, the next day will I be relevant in this country? So I have to show juu lazima leo ati tuseme a certain political leader amepeleka food wapi? Marsabit. They will go take pictures to make sure that wameonekana they have done that. So these people, they still want to be relevant in this society.
Yeah,
because
especially
of that power.
they do it especially they do it when running the campaigns. Mtu akitafuta kura atakuja mtata wapea food, they will give you money, but after that you'll see them again after the 5 years akikuja kutafuta kura tena. That's when he'll bring food. So he's buying power with the little money he has so that he can continue accumulating the money, so and controlling the people. That's why akiwa kwa kiti hata leta chakula so that you guys can be okay. You'll suffer so that you need the person, so that the next time he comes looking for the kura uko njaa, so you want the food in return of your.
Yeah, in that note also, literally right now the government is like giving out stipends to those people like suffering from drought and all that stuff. So once I give all that 5,000 Kenya shillings to those people at the rural areas, your 5K, nitachukua hiyo money nende ninunue nini? See, these other people wenye wako na door, they're going to take the foods when they wajenge hizo makios so that
the money is coming back.
So that money comes back to?
Ndio maana maskini atazidi kuwa maskini.
So, you are leading me to a point that is very crucial and very painful also. Like, we can't have our political leadership or our political class empowering its own people, because when you are empowered, you cannot be bought cheaply like they normally buy us at political times.
Yeah.
So, that leads us to something very interesting. Do you think the church has a role in educating the society according to the religious teaching? Because in the Bible we are told that we need to love each other. Because we are living in a country, Tibet, and it's very painful, that we are living in a country where we have very fertile soil, we have a lot of rain also, but when there is rain, tunasikia ng'ombe zimeswipiwa na maji. Like jana, juzi, I don't know, somewhere in Taita Taveta, kuna ng'ombe ziliswipiwa na maji. But before that, kulikuwa na drought, tulikuwa tunasikia ng'ombe zinakufa juu ya drought. So we can't have our political class, I'm remembering what you've just said about the moral leadership. So they don't have the moral, even the church has failed. Could you just paint a bit as we talk about the political class, so you zoom in a bit to the church leadership? What do you think they are doing to ensure that we still have the status quo of hunger and wealth?
Do you know that in this world, literally, we have enough to feed everyone?
Yeah.
But now, there's this, when you go to church, when you hear there's a political leader coming in, what happens? The church will be full?
Yes.
Na sadaka zitakuwa mob. What about that day when there are no political leaders and all that stuff? Tunajicontrol wenyewe, si ndio? And then now, there's this part whereby bishops in church, they have more control and power to tell people, ukiambia kila mtu akuja na unga, akuja na mchele, akuja na everything, those people will listen and they will bring those stuff. And then that food can be driven to. But now, what the church is failing at is we tend to politicize more because you want that money. Na hiyo pesa, unasikia pastor na insist kila siku 10%, 10%, 10%. Where does that 10% go to? So literally, the church is failing in terms of confusing the political scene and what the church is supposed to be doing.
Yes. So, Madam Fidel, before I make my remarks about with the church, could you also just, because I believe you are born in the church, you've been going to church and you understand something about the church, could you please just paint a bit of that picture clearly so that we see where the church is failing?
Yeah, the church is where that's where we go to seek help. The church ndo utapata, it's free to get there. It's free to be in a church. Shule lazima kumelipa school fees. To be in other social facilities lazima kumelipa. But to be in a church, it's so free to be in a church, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll find that you're there free, and then there is a leader who's there. So where are we more likely to interact with our leaders more?
In the church.
It's the church. And in the church, that's where people should, hapo ndo watu wanaelewana zaidi, watu ndo wanasaidiana zaidi. But instead, they've turned it to be a very different case in our society. Yeah. Because hata watu wenye wale maskini ndo wanakanga kwa church huko nyuma, hata hawezi notisika. The rich, they are here, by the way. Pastor anawaona tu kila wakati. But mwenye amekuja tu na kiatu imechapa, sijui anakaaje, that person is seated behind. So, the moment, as in, even sijui watu hawaelewani, starting from the church, because I don't see why a pastor himself can't stand, as in Hannah, he can, because he have the ability, him alone, and as a whole society, because he have control over so many people at the same time. So amekuja kwa kanisa, just like Chebet said, akisema kwa kanisa, today it's a Sunday of helping the poor. That guy can, because these guys, they're putting it like, each Sunday, a certain political leader is coming. And they'll gather a very big congregation and they'll handle whatever business they're supposed to handle there. But ikifika ni kusaidia people, trust me, we can. We just don't want to. We can.
Now you're painting a picture that I wanted to, I was trying to think about. The reason why we have hunger, when hunger is not a thing, is not a permanent thing. We have rainfall, we can build dams, we can pipe our waters, we can store our waters. Why don't you think the church is not there to teach us, because they're also just with personal interest, like Chebet was saying, the issue of moral leadership, the issue of having power so that you can manipulate people. So the church is also there to preach about poverty. If you are poor and you want wealth, come, we pray for you. So, but they cannot say, we are building a very big church, yet we could build a very big dam to store this water, or we can do something that can help our people, because we cannot be crying every other day. There is also another issue that is coming to my mind that is very desperate. When we are talking about hunger and wealth, look at in about a span of 1 year, the issue of COVID-19 came, and the world has spent more than trillions of shillings, trillions of dollars to bring us a vaccine.
Yeah.
But when you look at hunger that has always been with us, each and every year there is always somebody dying of hunger. And I believe the people who have died of hunger in the last 10 years are more than the people who have died of COVID.
Yeah.
But why do you think in 1 year, in a span of 1 year, we already have everybody being vaccinated? What do you think is the interest? Is there something I'm seeing, Madam Chebet, that you are also seeing?
It's more of in terms of how many people are affected with hunger and how many people are affected by COVID. It's more of COVID in effect from those people who are poor too, like literally everyone. But poverty, it tends to be in a very literally small area. So if it doesn't affect the rich, sisi tuko sawa. Why should I even care about those wenye wako njaa? So that it brings out the difference, because COVID didn't affect kila mtu, but hunger, it just affects a very small portion of people. But now the worst part of it is hunger is even killing more people than the way COVID is killing people. And it takes us back to the moral leadership.
Moral leadership.
Yeah.
Fidel, you're burning with certain things you want to say. Say something.
I think it's more embarrassing to die out of hunger. Afadhali tu kufe na corona, honestly. You better die out of corona. Tuseme msi aligonjeka and the person passed away. So, kukufa njaa. Do you think that's a pandemic? That's the pandemic. Acha sana na corona. The hunger is the pandemic. You know, that's the emergency case here. Juu sioni hata venye mi honestly hata mgonjwa kitu ya kwanza anashughulikiangwa ni nini? It's food. Now they are bringing us medicine before they want me to be vaccinated. Hata nguvu ya kuenda kwa health center nitatoa wapi nikiwa njaa?
Juu hiyo COVID hiyo hunger I affect kila mtu, na affect even the small.
Just a minute, Chebet. Somebody was telling me that the rich noticed that the virus is communicable, is passed through one person to another. And they realized that their businesses involves a lot of traveling and interaction. So they thought it wise that this COVID would kill them first before any other person. And they know, because even the poor can get COVID and give it to them, so they had to formulate a vaccine very fast. But hunger is something that is just meant for the poor. It is not, there is no way a rich man will die of hunger. So if it's hunger, just die. Because you cannot pass hunger to me to die of hunger. But now that it's COVID, that you can give it to me, because you will wash my car, I will send you to the supermarket, and you can give me
shopkeeper.
COVID. Yes, you are my shopkeeper, so you can give me COVID. So I better get you, let me get a vaccine. And everybody now, there is enough vaccine in the country. In fact, people are just still dilly-dallying, but everybody has his own dose in the country.
Mike, let me tell you.
Tell me.
If there's someone a rich man loves,
Yes.
it's a poor man.
Tell me why, Fidel. Fidel, you know you are crazy.
A poor man is a favorite rich man person.
How?
Because a rich man can't survive without the poor person.
How? Tell us. Paint it.
Yes, because that do you know, matajiri, the people that they interact with sana kwa siku, they are leave the middle class people alone. Those people are not affected by anything. Those are the guys that are living comfortably. Because the rich are the ones who are investing their money. And who ni nani wanawatafutia hiyo pesa? It's us. The poor. Let me put myself in the category. Pia mimi nataka hiyo chakula. Yes, let me put myself there. So it's the poor man. Huyo ndo it's the venue to umesema. The car washer of the rich man is the poor person.
Yeah.
Yani ule mtu mwenye
the gatekeeper.
They are the one who make those rich men people survive. I'm telling you, if a poor man is removed from this world today, a rich man becomes a poor man. Trust me, the rich man is the poor man to be rich.
So paint it a little bit more, because what you're talking about, Pengine, there is somebody out there.
So, this is what I'm trying to say. A rich man will never make a poor person comfortable, because the moment I become comfortable, I'll never need this person again. Yeah. They want us to need them. They want us to need them. I'm telling you, tajiri hata anaweza sikia umetajirika leo, and they can even rob you everything so that tomorrow you won't have anything, so that you can need them. Sababu kuongea ukweli, Mike, if today we woke up and everybody is okay. Do you know a rich man is not a rich man?
Everybody is poor.
Why are they rich? They are called rich because we are poor. Because ningekuwa na pesa kama yake, he's not a rich man.
So Fidel, Chebet, tafadhali, if you can also just glide smoothly to what Fidel is talking about in relations to lack of knowledge. Do you think lack of knowledge also has something to do with hunger and wealth? Because now that we know, there is somebody out there who is interested in making you poor so that he can survive. And yet, what God made is that human beings, we are all equal, because the kaburi is just the same size. Can you paint it a little bit more?
I think in terms of that, there is what we call difference of class. Kuna the poor class, the middle class, and the upper class. So if the middle class wakes up in the morning and enda job and work hard, si anajua kitu anatafuta? Yeah, anaishi kwa nyumba, let's take an example. Anaishi kwa nyumba ya 30k, salary yake ni maybe 70 or 80. There's a very good reason why anakaa kwa 30k, because he or she can afford. Alafu kuna ule mwenye ajiwezi, unaenda kujieka class ya wale middle class, unaenda unasema you want to live that life. So wewe unaenda unaishi kwa nyumba ya, pia wewe unaenda kuishi nyumba ya 30k, si ndio? Na wewe salary yako ni 40. Sasa ukilipa rent ya 30k, what about
3k na maji tena? Just
because you want to be in the same level as the other person. So why can't you use your own knowledge to make sure that if I stay in a house of like say na salary ya 40k, niende nitafute house ya 15k, I can pay my nitalipa rent yangu, nilipe maji, nilipe maybe one of the kids, because naweza mlipia kiasi. That person understands himself or herself. But now, this lack of knowledge goes back to these poor people. Like literally all the time unangojanga hiyo soya ya huyo politician. Ati leo tunaenda kupata hiyo so unaenda ku spend the entire day following a political leader just to be given that 100 bob. Why can't you go back to your level and find out what can I do so that I can serve my
own
own family. Like literally I can naweza jilipia kila kitu yenye nahitaji. So literally we have been like blindfolded and all these things just because we want to be like someone else.
Yeah, like the Bible says that
Let me
my
second.
people
Let me
are,
second,
just
Chebet.
a minute. Just what she's saying. My people perish because of lack of knowledge. I think you're moving it in the right direction.
So let me second you, Chebet. Yeah, just like I've said, a rich man anapenda a poor man. Do you know it's the other way around? A poor man hates a rich man. It's like they blame them. That's why I'm poor because that guy is rich. So that mentality is killing us. Because honestly, I don't know. I don't think that one is a very big. It's a very big contribution to hunger. Sababu, the moment that poor person is trying to fight it, as in try kungangana afike pale juu, satisfy his basic needs, because he want to live in a
the lifestyle that he cannot afford.
Those people end up wengine they suffer a lot even in sustaining their food. Sababu, this person is pressure, this person is in so much pressure.
Yeah, somebody was also telling me that in as much as we continue blaming the rich man, the poor people also got some opportunities. Yeah. You build a house, a mabati house, and it's a good one that you can collect your own water. You buy water for your domestic use every other time. Yet, just putting gutters to collect this water so that you can store it, like Kitambo, we used to live in rainwater. Yeah. But today we depend on buying water, yet we have mabati houses. We are buying electricity from Kenya Power every time, yet we have solar around us. Just buying a solar panel and kaput, you're done. Do you think we are also to blame?
But honestly, okay, we are to blame, but somehow I feel like some people, they are not just ignorant, they just can't. Sababu, Mike, kama unatafuta za chakula, za sola utatoa wapi?
As we conclude our discussion of the day, tafadhali Fidel, look at your camera and just tell somebody out there, what do you think hunger and wealth? It's just in 2 seconds, 5 seconds, tafadhali.
Okay, guys, I believe that giving doesn't come from having so much. You just help with the little you have. It's not like we can't change. Changing the world starts from us. You don't have to give someone food. Just teach them how to find the food. It will be okay. And for the people who think it's not a must that you rely on people, you have yourself. You can do anything. Do what you can. Try. Even these people got there by trying. Yeah, so you can just do you, and you can try, and this way we can reduce.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lastly, I would like to say charity begins at home. It's not only about hunger that's happening in Marsabit. Even your friend, your neighbor, who maybe enough food. So let's first look around those people around us. Make sure that they have like everything they need. And then there's this difference between helping and enabling. If we keep on helping people every day, tunashinda tunawapatia do kila siku, and we're not enabling them to do what they're supposed to be productive. We won't solve any issues of hunger or anything. So let's figure out, let's not just do the helping part, let's also enable these people to rise up and feed themselves and even be very important people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Madam Fidelis. Thank you so much, Chebet. Thank you so much, our dear audience. What I got to say is that let us be our brothers keepers, tafadhalini wanasiasa, the church people, tafadhalini. Let us not just look at people perishing. Let us do what God created us to do. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, asanteni sana. May God bless you as we make our world a proper place for us. Thank you.
Guys, don't forget to subscribe and comment. You can just go down there and comment what you think about hunger and wealth. Yeah, you can just talk and subscribe. Thank you, guys.
And make sure you listen to the podcast, Mira Reflection Kenya.
Yeah, at Mira Reflection Kenya, YouTube. You can find us on Twitter at Mira Reflection Kenya. Our Instagram handles, Mira Reflection Kenya.